them come. This is their fate.
Cool. All right. Last thing we want to talk about here is, well, two things. And I may have to round out the last one alone, but Avowed reviews are in. We're getting 7s, we're getting 8s, we're getting 9s. There's a lot of mixed bags out there for Avowed, really. I didn't expect it to be so mixed. I thought it was going to be like, 9s and 8s, honestly. And it's not because I thought the game was going to be good in the beginning. I just thought because it was not reviewing, but being previewed well. It was like being previewed so well. People had nothing but good things to say about it. That's what got me interested in the game in the first place. But I guess people have gotten to access to the early access, and people have been sharing their opinions online, and the journalists and all that stuff. I guess from y'all perspective, what have y'all seen online about Avowed, and what has the reviews look like, or the people's opinions on this look like for y'all on your feeds?
Yeah, I guess I'll try to be quick. It's also been mixed from what I've seen, but I would say mixed in a interesting way because right away some of the expectations were like Skyrim or something like that or a Bethesda game, and it's not that. So if you're going in expecting that, there's a bit of disappointment to be had. For example, there's no like mass looting or things like that, like going to a shop and like steal stuff and then everybody chases you around town like something in like Skyrim. That doesn't happen because that's not what their focus is on this game. So they didn't even put that thief system in the game. That
Mm-hmm.
being said, from what I've seen, the combat looks fun. The build depth looks interesting. The creativity as far as like the art and the characters, as also the exploration. It all looks very good, and a lot of people have been praising those aspects of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it seems that the game is complicated with like the stats and the builds.
Mm-hmm.
So some people that's off-putting. Other people they really like that type of stuff. Overall, I would say, from my impression, is that the most people are positive on the game, and
Okay.
I'm actually interested in playing it based off the previews I've seen.
Yeah. I definitely downloaded it on my PC, and I'm gonna give it a shot. Um, Not sure if I want to play it on the Xbox just yet. But if it becomes a crash city or problematic, I seen a lot of people some people talking about corrupted files, save files, and all that good jazz. So I'm assuming that's on the Steam version because Xbox Game Pass, they usually have that
Yeah,
cloud
there could be
bracket.
save issues, but Digital Foundry also did a breakdown. They said the game performance-wise is,
Pretty solid.
uh, yeah, mhm.
hmm So yeah, I didn't see any performance issues. I saw like actual like weird things like save issues. So the game is performative, by the way. If you guys weren't aware of that, you could check out the Digital Foundry breakdown, and there's a few others that did breakdowns of it, and everybody felt as if the game ran well on their systems, which is great to see in the PC market. Um, so yeah, with that being said, I mean, I wanted to cover off on this, and I take it from here in regards to Avowed's pay to play early situation. Here's my simple thoughts on this. You don't have to pay if you are okay with being, missing out on those first few hours to kind of be excited about a game and playing it firsthand. I think it's okay. I don't think that the early access is taking too much from anybody else. If you're always online, maybe if you're like always someone that's online looking at stuff, you might get spoiled a little bit here and there. But I feel like the early access period was a little bit more hard for this Avowed one because it was over the weekend. Most people can't play until the weekend anyway. So now you got people on the weekend playing a game you ain't got access to. So say for instance, if early access started on a Tuesday and your game drop on Friday, that's easier to handle because you're like, I ain't gonna be able to play it till Friday anyway. So with this one, I think it dropped on a Thursday night or something like that, and nobody could play it till Tuesday night. So that kind of felt like, yeah, the prime time for me to play this game is now. I think that is a little bit of a little cringy approach, but it is what it is. It's what they want to do with it. And if you want to pay that extra money to play a game a couple of days early, like half the money of the game to play the game a couple of days early, it kind of feels insane. So, how I feel about it, in all honest, and to be completely honest, I got enough to play right now. I don't really need to play Avowed day one. I can understand if you were really anticipating it. Maybe that is something you want to play. I don't think it came with DLC, so it makes it a tough buy to pay $25 for a couple skins and early access. Um, so I do feel like, yeah, that's a problem. But for me, I got plenty of play. I don't need to play Avowed day one. And for most people, it doesn't feel that it's not that bad. It's another way for them to monetize their games and be able to kind of put more money back into the developer's pocket that you don't have to necessarily t- um, buy into. Kind of the same thing with skins and free to play. If this is what we got to deal with to get more single player games, I'm all for it. Like, this is the route y'all gonna take to kind of monetize more off of these games. Sure, go at it. I feel like at a certain point in your life, you got to realize that none of this stuff is going anywhere. If you got to wait a couple of days to play it, that's fine. Now, this egregious approach here over the weekend might be a little tough because you ain't gonna be able to play it until the next weekend, and now you got a bunch of time for people to kind of spoil things and make you feel like you missed out on something. But um, if they are one that will give a 3 day early access pass to most of their games dropping in Game Pass, I'm for it, especially if it's gonna keep giving me single player games. I think the multiplayer position is the worst, where you like playing multiplayer games and they got 3 day early access. That's a problem. That gives someone an extreme advantage over you. But if it's a single player game and nobody's playing online together or whatever, I don't think that's a problem. So that's just my take. I understand that could probably be problematic to some, but it's my take on it. I feel like they have to evolve and how to figure out get more money out of single player games, and I think that's the easiest way to do so. So